Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Tam Wai Jia.
Hi, hello everyone. How are you guys doing? Good. Can I just hear how you guys are doing? Good. Okay. I'm really glad to be here to share with all of you. And I just want a show of hands now. How many of you have been overseas before for travel or for whatever? How many of you? Okay. Wow, that's a lot of hands. Well done. Now, how many of you have been overseas to do some form of, humanitarian or charity work or something? Can I have a show of hands? Wow, okay, there have been a fair number of you as well. Well done. Now today, I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about my journey. Okay. Now today, I'm going to be sharing with you about what makes our life count. Now, I know this sounds like a serious topic, but I really want to ask all of you before we begin, do you want to live a life that counts? Do you really want to live a life that counts at the end? Wow, I think I'm glad that one or two people are. Can I hear from you? How many of you want to live a life that counts? How many of you? Wow. Now, you guys here, I feel, are really privileged, and I feel privileged to be speaking to you because you are the leaders of our next generation. Now, my journey began when I was about your age. Sometime many years ago, I embarked on my first mission trip to Nepal. And when I was there, I stayed with a group of girls at an orphanage for about 6 weeks. Now, at that time, I was about 18 years old. And that experience changed my life because it was then that I first came to such real and close proximity to what poverty looked like. Now, I'm not sure about you, but during that time when I went to Nepal, I had a lot of challenges. Many people were telling me, "You're so young, there's really nothing much you can do there." And still I had people telling me, "But maybe you should study harder, become a doctor, get famous, and then maybe you can do something to help other people." Still, there were other people who told me, "Aya, go Nepal for what? So far away. Over here, a lot to do, So I'm sure you face many similar challenges as well. Now, when I was there, I had a dream. And this dream is more than 10 years ago. And that dream was to paint and to write picture books in order to raise funds for worthy causes overseas. Now, at that time, many people told me, "What? You came back from Nepal? You did that crazy thing, and now you want to write a book? To do what? Raise funds for an orphanage?" Now, many people thought I was crazy, and they told me, "Well, when you become rich and famous, and when you write a book, then people will start reading your book because now they think you're somebody or something." But I was very grateful that I had teachers and parents and friends around me who believed in not what success can do, but what your heart really longs for. And it was because of that, at the age of 18, I published my first children's book. It was called Kite Song. And it raised more than $100,000 to build an orphanage in Nepal. Now, many of the girls today, which is more than 10 years already, they've graduated and they've gotten married, and one of them has just delivered her first baby. So this is the orphanage that you see on screen. So my question to you today is this: what really counts in your life? What really matters? Is it other people's perspectives of you? Or is it a dream that you have in your heart? I know in our society, everybody is saying, you need to take exams, you need to score well, you need to be somebody and something in our society before you can make a difference. Well, my challenge to you here today is this: don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, because you have the power to make a difference to the people around you. After that, I continued publishing books in order to raise funds for needy people overseas as well as locally. Now, the second book that you see in the middle, called A Taste of Rainbow, was actually used in Singapore to raise awareness about youth issues such as depression and eating disorders, because I came to a point in my life where I realized that I had a lot of things. I was in medical school, I published books, I did well, I felt that, I was respected, but I wasn't happy, because those are not the things in life that really count at the end. So I struggled for years with depression, and at one point I struggled with anorexia. And I really thought to myself, is this really the kind of life that I want? So in 2011, which was a couple of years ago, yes, I did win the Young Outstanding Singaporean Award, but that really made me think, are these the kind of achievements in life that make life worth living? It was hard to answer that question at that time. My turning point came when I got married. This is my ex-boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend because he's now my husband lah. So I got married, and at that time, none of my classmates thought I would get married because I was very focused, I was single-minded. I thought to myself, I'm going to be successful. I want to go overseas and help people and do great things in Singapore and abroad. And then I met my husband, who is a liver cancer survivor. Now, he had cancer when he was 10 years old. He had a huge tumor in his liver, and the doctors gave him 6 months to live. After that, he was told that unless he had a liver transplant, there was no way that he could survive. Now, as you know, it's very hard to get a liver for a liver transplant. But amazingly, somebody gave him a liver, and because of that, he has a second chance at life. Now, this good-looking man here is probably the reason why I married him. No, but the real reason was that I saw that he had so much drive and purpose in his life to make a difference to the people around him, because this is what he told me. He said, at the age of 10, I could have lost my life, but God gave me a second chance, and that's why I want to make every moment count. So when I met him, it was at that point where he had a crisis. His liver numbers on the blood tests were going crazy, and he told me, he said, I don't know what's happening. I've gone to multiple doctors, and they all can't figure out the cause. And we both thought that he might die. Shortly after, he recovered miraculously, and we thought to ourselves, this is the time when we need to do something worthwhile with our lives. So this was featured last year, just before we went to Uganda. And yes, although the headline says we're young, crazy, and adventurous, but I think the reason why we left was because we realized that our time here is very short. We only have so many days in our lives. And how many of you here can predict how many more days you have before we go? So we decided that even though it seems like a crazy idea, we would spend time serving the needy in Africa. So we just came back about 3 months ago, and when NYLD asked me to speak at this event, I was still quite in shock trying to adjust from Africa back to Singapore because we had been there for a year. But it was an extremely fulfilling experience. And we were there, we realized that there were so many things that we have here that many communities around the world cannot even begin to dream of. So shortly after we came back, just 3 weeks ago, our story was shared on Channel News Asia. And I remember one question that was asked to me was, what do you think is important in life? And that question really stumped me. Because if you asked me this question a couple of years ago, I would tell you, well, studies are important. Being a successful doctor is important. Being well known is important. And looking back, I realized that those were the kind of things I grew up believing, but which didn't really matter anymore. So today I stand here and I want to share with you this. What gifts do you have as a person? What dreams do you have in your heart? What do you really want to do in your life to make it count? Sure, many people around you will tell you that there is only one way to lead a meaningful life. Get straight A's, be a lawyer or a doctor, otherwise your life is over. And I'm sure many of you know here that that is not true. My question to you is this. What gifts do you have as a person to make a difference to your world around you? Not even overseas, but in Singapore. What difference can you make to the people around you? So today is a special day for me because I come here sharing with you my 4th book. It was finished printing yesterday actually. So you will be the first ones today to actually see it and receive it. I'll be outside with a book table, and those of you who are interested can come and pick up a copy. But for those of you who may not, I will be sharing it with you right now. So I hope you'll enjoy this. Now, this book was inspired by my journey in searching for success. I have a gift. Since I was little, I could make things grow just about anywhere. I liked my gift. But it is not useful, Daddy said. You must have a useful gift like collecting stars. Reach up and collect as many as you can. I became very good at reaching for the stars. Mommy and Daddy said I had a bright future ahead. They told me, collect more stars. Forget about your daisies. So I buried my gift and I stopped making things grow. With my many stars, I became useful. Everyone was very happy for me. But something was missing. I missed my daisies. Work was confusing. I never knew whom I could trust. I felt stuck. There were traps everywhere. Sometimes I got hurt. I had to protect myself. But it was tiring to wear a suit all day. I could not be me. I collected stars night and day, round the clock. But it was never enough. There were shoes I could not fill. People told me, the stars will bring you happiness. I could not understand. I became a more useful person, but I was unhappy. When all the stars are taken, the night sky becomes cold and lonely, as starless nights can be. I'll put my stars up back where they belong, so a starlit sky shines bright and strong. But angry eyes burned. I was spurned. I know a starlit sky is for all to see. The stars are not just for me. In life, we have choices, and time is short. It may seem hard to take the first step, to follow the song in your heart. But life is too short not to savor. What we thought was buried and lost surely can be found. A starlit sky was meant for all to see. A simple life savored was meant for you and me. So today, before I end, my simple question for you to consider today would be this. There is a purpose for our lives far bigger than we could ever imagine. Is it time to stop, to remember, and to savor those dreams again? All of you here today are very precious. You have a wonderful gift inside of you. And I truly believe that if you believe in that you can make a difference to the people and the world around you, you most definitely can and will. So savor your life and make it count.